Yo guys, it's Derp with another update about the ongoing court case between IronMace and Nexon. This one is about the latest update on the IronMace Discord, where Terrence posted this spicy bit of info about their 30-day extension. So in that update, he says, "Hello everyone. I wanted to provide a quick update on the legal situation. Our lawyers in the United States have gotten a 30-day extension before we have to respond to the lawsuit there. This is very common in US courts. I wish I could share more information about our strategy, but I'll need to stay silent for a bit longer due to the sensitivity of the issue. I look forward to sharing more soon. As always, hold the line." It's rather short, but there's a lot of information contained in that short little one paragraph, right? Uh, and it kind of affects their court case and the timeline for early access and a lot of other things. And there's also a lot of other things kind of playing into this. So I wanted to make a video about it. Before I get started, I wanted to say thank you to everyone who's been subscribing and joining the Discord and liking and leaving comments and everything. You guys are all helping out a ton. I've basically doubled my subscribers over the past week, and you guys are crushing it. I love you guys. You guys are rad. This is why I do this. It's kind of like a fun little hobby for me, but it's cool to see the channel grow. It helps out a lot, and I've been having great conversations with you guys in the Discord, so keep asking questions. I also want to preface this video with a little disclaimer. This one is going to be a little bit different. Usually I'm as fact-based as possible. This video is mostly speculation and opinion on my part. I have no insider knowledge into IronMace or their legal battle. Most of my other videos on this topic have used heavily researched court documents and expert advice. This one is kind of different. This video is my opinion based on what I know of the law and my own research. I haven't consulted with any experts yet. When I do, I will post any revisions in a follow-up video if there is any, and as necessary. And I'll add anything new information about this topic specifically to the description as I get it. So I'm kind of foregoing my usual timeline and validation due to the urgency of this matter and the direct requests I'm getting from subscribers and Discord members to talk about this matter. I haven't had any time to. I have friends who are lawyers, and I haven't really had time to consult them. I've been pretty busy today, and all this kind of happened, hours ago. So, as always, question what people say, including me. I will be wrong sometimes, and you should bring it up. Press me if I'm wrong. Let me know if I've misspoken. The last thing I want to do is spread false information, especially on a matter like a court case with tens to hundreds of millions of dollars on the line. With that said, let's get right into the video. So, what actually happened? On 6/16/23 at 6 a.m. Pacific time, a few hours after I posted my last video, the CEO of IronMace, Terrence, posted that update on the community announcements channel in the official Dark and Darker Discord. In short, it says that they have filed their appearance and have requested a 30-day extension on the U.S. trial. It also goes into how sorry he is, and he will share more soon. So, what is the extension? Well, the extension itself is kind of exactly what it sounds like, right? It extends the time between the appearance, so yesterday on 6/16/23, and the early case conference. If you've watched my other videos, the early case conference is where they hold all the pretrial hearings. It's where they're going to decide things like if the case is going to be dismissed. It's where they're going to decide the injunctions, if any, and it's going to decide the rules and timeline of the case. It's like basically where all the lawyers go into a meeting room with the judge, and they discuss all the rules of the case and how long they want it to take, and they kind of have their preliminary arguments and give out as much detail as possible, and then ask the judge for certain stipulations, right? That's the early case conference. And what the extension does is it changes that from 30 days from the appearance, so 6/16/23, up to 60 days, essentially. It adds up to an additional 30 days. So instead of the early case conference being 30 court days from 6/16/23, it will be on or before 60 days from 6/16/23, but no later than 90 days from when IronMace was officially served on 5/30/23. It's whichever is sooner. So either 90 days from 5/30/23 or 60 days from 6/16/23, whichever comes sooner. What does this mean for the case? To put it bluntly, nobody really knows. It's everything you hear about this is going to be speculation and opinion, unless it comes directly from the courts. IronMace's lawyers, I would question it very heavily. All we really do know at this point is that IronMace felt like they needed more time to prepare for the case or to execute some sort of legal strategy that they have in mind. My personal opinion, and this is 100% speculation, is that it means one of a few things. It means IronMace has found new sources of funding and are in a good place to fight this case, so they are buying time to spend with their lawyers and their growing legal team and prep for their U.S. and now Korean legal cases. This is the most likely scenario in my opinion. Because of new information, I've kind of changed my opinion on this. This is the most likely scenario, in my opinion, because of the Korean court case and other factors, which I'll go into later. Or it can mean that IronMace is close to being out of money and is buying time to raise funds somehow. This is also rather common for companies that are on a really tight or shoestring budget. So they might be trying to raise money through early access, like a paid early access or a GoFundMe, more investors, or some other form of income. We don't know how that would look. It could be a combination of like a GoFundMe plus a playtest, right? We have no idea. But they might be buying time to raise money. So the problem with speculating on this is that we really don't know where IronMace is financially or what their lawyers are saying. I can assume, based on previous conversations with IP and corporate lawyers, that they are being advised to do some mixture of both of the above. They're probably being advised to find new funding and to spend that money on time with their lawyers to prepare for two simultaneous legal battles. Obviously, lawyers want to get paid, and they have a growing legal team. Their legal team is probably saying, hey, you guys are going to need a shit ton of money. Go out there and fundraise however you can, but be smart about it, right? And they're going to say, we want as much time as possible to prepare for this because Nexon has an amazing legal team. So with that said, what does that say about early access? It's kind of difficult to say, especially from a facts-based standpoint. We don't have a lot of facts. This is going to be mostly opinion. So my opinion is that releasing early access right now is a terrible idea and should be saved as kind of a last resort. If they have exhausted all other options and need money right now, it is certainly an option, as is a GoFundMe or another form of playtest. Any mixture of these things is really possible. They could release an early access tomorrow, for all I know. But after sifting through all the legal filings from IronMace and their appearance today, I really don't think that's their plan. My reasoning behind that is because they've recently expanded their legal team from one attorney to three or more. So far today, they've added two new attorneys to their legal team, and two of the three attorneys have already been approved. These attorneys are Aaron J. Moss, who's been approved, Joshua M. Geller, who's been approved, and Emily G. Avazian. So to me, this move, along with the reporting from Korea that they have recently found new sources of private angel investment, signal that they have enough money to fight this out in a serious way, at least until the early case conference and until the civil case in Korea is resolved. So let's think about this realistically. I mean, you just don't triple the size of your legal team if you don't have any money. That's not a smart move. If you're strapped for cash enough to basically violate not really an agreement, but a norm of a court case and move forward with a product that's currently under legal sanctions or legal action from the U.S. and Korean courts, to release that. If you move forward and do something like release EA and charge for it, that would be a signal that you're kind of out of money, right? So, and if they're tripling the size of their legal team and Korean news agencies, which admittedly are somewhat untrustworthy, but if they're saying that they have received recent investment, then they also follow it up by hiring more lawyers, I think that can be kind of verified, right? Not verified in full, but it's kind of obvious that they got money from somewhere. With that said, I don't really think that early access is going to come out anytime soon. That is, unless they desperately need the funding as soon as possible, and I'm wrong that they got a bunch of money somehow. Um, what I do think will happen is that they hold off for now, try to raise more funds through investment, possibly post another playtest alongside a GoFundMe. Don't charge money directly for the playtest, but hold a GoFundMe and do a playtest just to try to keep people active and meet expectations. And that's if they have no other alternatives. Paid release of early access would be a huge signal that they aren't doing well and can't secure any funding. And in my opinion, it's a last resort and pretty much the worst possible outcome. So early access would be bad? Question mark. This is kind of a hot topic on the Discord and the subreddit right now. We all want Dark and Darker to come out. We want Dad to come home as soon as possible, right? We're worried about never seeing Dad again. I get it. I really do. But we kind of have to think of this from IM standpoint. IronMace is in a multi-million to $100 million lawsuit with Nexon. The last thing they really want to do is upset two court systems by releasing early access while they're still under civil suits. And one of their founders is currently fighting a criminal case. Not only does it jeopardize their case, IronMace's cases, but it puts the consumers at risk. Should they release early access and end up losing the fight for the Korean and U.S. injunctions, there is a very real possibility that early access would then be shut down. There's even a possibility that everyone who purchased early access would have to wait until the case was settled or concluded to receive a refund. The idea of taking such a big risk should scare the heck out of IronMace and be an absolute last resort, at least in my opinion. It's really an all or nothing gambit, right? However, with that said, I do think that should it come to it, IronMace should release early access if they absolutely need to. I personally would rather them go down swinging and risk everything instead of giving up and disappearing quietly into the night. But at the end of the day, we all kind of need to realize that, a man's life has already been ruined by this. Mr. Choi has been fighting a criminal case for 2 years now. He's lost almost everything and is still fighting for freedom to stay out of prison. Should he lose his court case in Korea, he could face a multi-year prison sentence. There's also millions and millions of dollars on the line for IronMace, as well as the future of their game studio. These people are pretty much sacrificing everything so that we can have a fun game to play. So, sure, they will earn a ton of money if they win because the game rules, but that's not without really what amounts to a fight for their life. These things, will play out kind of how they play out. And in the meantime, I think we should all be patient, and I'll do my best to keep everybody up to date. For now, all we can really do is have a little bit of patience, hold the line for at least a little bit longer. But yeah, that's about it. I hope you guys liked the video. I'm trying to keep it shorter and stick to the point. I'm also working on getting a new mic and possibly a camera. I tested my phone as a camera. It didn't really work out too well. If you want to help with the channel, please like, subscribe, and show the video to everyone you can. Blast it on Reddit, blast it in Discord. There's also my Patreon and my own Discord server. Joining either of those helps me tremendously. I hope you guys have an awesome rest of the day. I'll see you guys in the dungeon. Peace.